It's tough when you guys are not all there. Thank God Jean-Philippe came and rescued the old ladies on Thursday and Friday. I still can't figure out the link for this. Okay, just by the way, I just can't figure it out. So what did I do this morning? Nothing. Marie-Pierre gets in my computer and she does it, and I'm yelling after the cats. That's my job. That's my job. Welcome to the podcast, the Millionaire of the Diamonds. I'm so happy to cover this subject today. And again, Jean-Philippe, Marie-Pierre, as we were reading it yesterday, Jean-Philippe, I said, people need to read books with people that have entrepreneurship experience, have raised children, or not raised children, but with experience, because having read it raw, the way we read it yesterday, I was going to look at me and go, I'm such a failure because I did not go to, you know what I mean? You feel like, and you're going to understand why today. Okay. So the podcast is not just about, this is the book we're covering, but really diving deep, training our mind to be master of our universe. I feel like Aladdin, master of the universe. No, master. I watched it so often that I catch myself extracting phrases from the movie. I'm master of the universe. That's it. Master of my universe. And I want clarity. I want clarity. This morning, I was really passionate with training Ella a little bit on the close of the month, young, ambitious, but they need to be guided. And I said to her this, what do you want? What do you want? You don't start working like a mad woman. Start with what is the outcome you're looking for, and then back it up, reverse engineer. So this is what the Millionaire of the Diamonds is, to bring it to the world platform. You have to see what I'm writing in my journal. Next conference, I'm going to let Marie-Pierre talk to you about it with the sharing and why share today. Marie-Pierre, over to you.
Okay, so first thing, it's time to share. So you will see the arrow just beside where you write your comment, so you can share everywhere, and you have the text in the comment that you can copy paste it so people understand why they should listen to the podcast this morning. So make sure that you share everywhere, and you will see that when you click on that arrow, you can also send it by messenger or text message. So when you have someone in mind that it's really important for you that they will listen, is the best way to make sure that they will click on the link, send it directly by messenger or text message. Then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group called Les Millionnaires des Diamants Inspirational Group, every time you post, every time you comment, every time you put a reaction, you gain points during the month to be in the top 10 contributor of the group. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 will get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants. And then we have a draw at the end of every month. So to be in the draw, there's two plays. So first, when you go on the boutique and you place your order, make sure that you always take a picture. When you receive your order, you take a picture and you post it on social media and tag Maria Mariano and Les Millionnaires des Diamants to be in the draw. And same thing with the books, Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So every time you receive one of the book, you take your picture. You're reading one of the book, you take a picture. You're doing one of the quiz book, you take a picture. You're doing one of the workbook, you take a picture. You're using your agenda, you take a picture. And every time you post on social media and you tag Maria Mariano and Les Millionnaires des Diamants to be in the draw at the end of the month. And if you haven't registered yet for the conference that we will have on January 24th, make sure that you go. You will have the link in the comment in a few seconds. It will appear, and click on the link so you can register and be with us for the conference. And Maria decided that since we're going to be all together at the studio, why not have some audience? So for those that want to be with us in person, just write me a message and I will add you to the special group for everyone that will be in person on January 24th.
Thank you so much. I want to say a huge hello to everybody here. Sherry, these are really the people I want at the conference. I want Sherry. Good morning, Sherry. Jacqueline, I want her there. Lise, I want her there. James, come on down with your family. You for sure you have a night at the condo. Take the weekend off. We have with us Martin. Thank you. And again, share what to expect today. Let me dive in quickly. What to expect today. We're diving into one of the most important chapters of Essentialism. Write it down, The Power of a Graceful No. And you're going to expect the storytelling part from me, but don't worry, Jean-Philippe is coming and he's going to go deeper, what I call the academic backbone. It's with Jean-Philippe, you're actually going to take notes. And then Marie-Pierre is going to guide you through reflection. So right now, let's dive in. So Stephen Covey talks about clarity creates courage, the power of graceful no. Today is all about the heart of essentialism. And as I was reading this, I was going, and I'm going to give you my 5 cents on it based on the fact that I've been in business for 40 years. I am a woman deeply rooted into values, loyalty, work ethic. I know the power of that. Like, I truly know the power of that, but also I don't want anybody walking away saying, oh my God, I don't do that. Don't worry. It's a work in progress. Okay. And honestly, at the heart of all of this, it's a question of also time. You've got to give yourself time. So now, as I was reading this chapter, the story of Rosa Parks and the story of Stephen Covey and his daughter, okay, really have nothing in common, but they do. It's the decision of the powerful no, the graceful no. So one is the woman living under segregation. She's a Black woman, exhausted, humiliated, pushed to the edge of dignity. The other is in a world of renowned leadership. At this point, Stephen Covey is already renowned leadership expert with a full big bank account. Rosa Parks didn't have a full bank account. Fancy conference, a carefully planned evening with his little girl. Jean-Philippe is going to come back to that. But the lesson is exactly the same. Okay. Clarity gives courage. That's, if you're diving in, that's one of the things I would write down. Conviction creates the no. And purpose tells you what to protect. So for those of you that are good in the chat, you write that down. Clarity gives courage. Conviction creates the no. Purpose tells you what to protect. Now, Rosa wasn't trying to start a revolution. She wasn't a naturally assertive woman. Of course not. Back in the days, being Black, God forbid you were assertive. But in the moment, she had moral clarity. This is the last time that I will expect being humiliated in public, accepting any kind of humiliation. Stephen Covey wasn't trying to be dramatic. He simply had family clarity. Tonight belongs to my daughter, and nothing else is more important than her. One decision sparked a movement. The other created a memory that lasted a lifetime. Okay, so now let's give ourselves a little bit of grace, because let's be honest, most of us at 25 years old, courage isn't really there. There's absolutely no clarity. Many suffer from self-esteem, which is part of the normal young adulthood life. No inner compass, just anxiety, confusion, and a fear of disappointing everybody. That's the reality. And that's the beauty of doing the podcast of the Millionaire of the Diamonds. It's really driving in like the reality of things. We were not Rosa Parks. We haven't been segregated. I mean, I haven't been. I mean, I suffer racism, yes, but never at the level back in those years. We were not Stephen Covey either. And I don't want any of you listening to this to feel inadequate or ashamed because you didn't have that level of conviction back then. Doesn't matter, okay? Their clarity came from two places. Rosa, from deep purpose. There was segregation, nothing most of us will ever live in this time and age. Deep success and stability was Stephen. When your survival is threatened or your bank account is full, like complete extreme opposites, okay? Nothing in between, extreme opposite. Clarity is easier. My mom and dad coming here on the side of Rosa Parks, poverty, breaking the chains of you can't do this, like extreme. It's got to be extreme. So please be kind to yourself. You're not weak. You're not late. You're simply becoming, in the process of becoming. And in fact, you're into this podcast this morning. That's the proof you need. You're in the process of becoming. So let me bring you into my life now. Years ago, when my daughter Nadia qualified for the Quebec Games, she was what we called Olympic Hope, Espoir Olympique. One of the first to qualify in the family. It meant everything to her. But the problem was this: her competition for the Quebec Junior Olympics was 1,000 kilometers away. That's how I knew about Sept-Îles, by the way, Seven Islands. Yeah, I think that's how it's called. And that same weekend, I had a huge Tupperware event. Big opportunity, big business, big momentum. Everything in my head said, Maria, you can't miss this Tupperware thing. This is your career. But something deeper said, no, this is her moment. Now, I want you to understand, I'm no hero. By this time, Nadia is about 14 years old. I'm already well established in Tupperware. The bank account by this time is full. So I just want you to understand, I'm not sure I would have made this decision if I was 26 years old and only 1 year in my business leader opportunity. So I want you to take and leave. You know, you got to be very sure that you're understanding here the point of the importance of financial freedom, of the importance of personal growth. And she needs to look into the stands. And what she needs, Nadia, right now is to look in the stands and know her mother is there. Okay, so I said no to the business and yes to my daughter. And to this day, and all of my kids who are now 30, 32, and 34, they still know if it matters, mama is going to be there. Maybe that's why they're still all at home. Last night I saw Yasmin. She put this new bike in Hamid's room. And I said, I don't think they're ever leaving, ever leaving. Anyways, maybe I did too much of a good job there. Didn't scare them enough to kick them out. I have no clue. But anyways, the point is your kids, your dream, your inner voice, they need to know you are reliable and they can rely on you. But again, remember, my friends, this is why I'm so driven on financial freedom. It really helps to take the right decision because the truth is you don't magically become Rosa Parks and you don't automatically become Stephen Covey. You grow into clarity and clarity grows. Courage rises. And one of the fastest paths to clarity is, write it down. Somebody in the chat, write it down. Success. Fastest path to clarity, winning, achieving, mastering your craft, building your confidence. The more successful you become, the more essential your time becomes. And suddenly saying no becomes natural and unapologetic. Not because you're rude, not because you're selfish, but because you finally understand your worth. Now, to be able to take down more notes, we're going to leave you in the hands of Jean-Philippe Jacques.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So I'm the theory part of the team, okay? So today, what we want to look at is understand, okay, the mechanic that is behind all of those stories. So why it is hard for us to say no, and more importantly, how can we make this no, okay, an act of leadership, but mostly clarity. So first of all, we want to look at how our brain is functioning. So why it is so hard for us to say no. Okay, so in this equation, saying no is not a rejection, but as we saw in those two stories, okay, and even in the one of Maria, it's an act of affirmation. It's an act of leadership. So why it is hard for our brain to resist, okay? Because maybe you are an addict, not to drug, not to alcohol, but an addict to say yes, 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 okay? So first of all, okay, our brain is wired to avoid conflict. So when we say no, okay, even when we were like little kids, little child, we learned that saying no, okay, and the first word that we are taught most of the times is no. Don't do this, don't do that. So we saw that as a friction, okay, and we fear the disappointing of others, like burning bridges or even missing out on some opportunity. That's the reason why it's so hard for our brain to say no. The second reason why, okay, it's hard to say no and we become addicted to saying yes, it's because saying yes gives us immediate rewards, immediate gratification, social approval, the feeling of being useful, the feeling of being liked because we say yes to somebody. So it's a short-term dopamine that we receive, but unfortunately, it's not good on the long term. So we need to remember that how we can say a no, a graceful no to somebody is if we have clarity in our purpose, is if we decide to act as a courageous person. So I want to cover with you what are the three layers of clarity of a powerful no. So it's related to the story that Maria just told us. The first one is what we call the moral clarity. So remember the example, the story of Rosa Parks. So Rosa Parks here, okay, was really, okay, somebody that had a profound moral clarity. She had a conviction about what was right and what was wrong at that moment. And the way that she said no, it's because she knew, okay, deep inside of her that she was aligned with her most essential value. That's how you are able to say an affirmative no gracefully, because it's aligned with who you are. And the exercise that we actually propose you in our books, our working books related to the book that we have published over the past 2 years, are example, and even in the conditioning program, also in the journaling, they are exercise to help you, okay, discover what are your true value and what is your principle, so you then are able to say no really to what is not aligned with yourself. The second note is what we call the vision clarity. Okay, so here it's related to the story of Stephen Covey. Okay, so when you exactly know what you have to do, okay, you have a plan, you have like an itinerary, you have a task that you need to give at a specific time, at a deadline, then obviously you will be able to say no to everything else that is not aligned with that. Okay, so really related to a task or something that you need to accomplish. And finally, the third note is what we call the priority clarity. This is actually related to what Maria Melanie and Marie Pierre are covering on Thursday and Friday with their podcast. Okay, here it's really about understanding how, okay, those what could be the consequences in the future. So it's related to your action, it's related to the discipline, okay, and constantly asking yourself, does this action bring me closer to my essential, closer to my vision, closer to my goal, to my mission? So we need to keep that in mind. So based on our value, based on our vision, and based on our action, those three elements will really help you say no gracefully to somebody else, because you will now then be aligned with yourself. So always remember, so the question that you can ask yourself, okay, just to be sure when you are facing a situation, am I on the right way? Am I able like to say an affirmative no gracefully without like vexing the person in front of me? So the question is the following. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Okay, so it's really about understanding that the yes of today, what will be the consequences in the future? Because if you say yes to something, maybe the opportunity in the future won't be there. And not like having that FOMO, that fear of missing out, but really get back to yourself, get back to your roots, get back to your value, your fundamental values, and really be connected with yourself. So it's not about being selfish, it's about integrity. It's about alignment between your value, your vision, and your action. So those will be there to help you understand when you need to say no and the power of saying no, because yes, it's an act of courage, but it will help you in the future. So to continue the reflection with you, I am letting you in the hands of Marie-Pierre.
Thank you, Jean-Philippe. So yes, we're gonna take the time to really self-reflect about this subject. Because if you're just listening, maybe you're starting to have some realization, but when you really do a self-reflection, it's where you can bring the podcast to another level. So let's start this honest self-reflection. So it's gonna be an easy way to do this morning, because it's a yes or no. Okay, so it's really easy for this morning. So let's start. So take a deep breath And we're ready to start. Okay, so have you ever said yes simply to avoid conflict in your life? Yes. Okay. Have you ever agreed to take on a task or a meeting that you didn't have the time for? Have you ever said yes to a favor that you didn't have the energy for? Have you ever said yes to a responsibility that wasn't yours just because you didn't want to deal with someone's reaction? Have you ever ignored an essential priority because you didn't want to disappoint someone? Have you ever canceled your workout or your personal time or your bedtime or even a family moment because someone asked for something quick? Where in your life are you answering your message at all hour, even if it's not essential? Are you fixing problems that other people should handle? Are you saying yes to events that you don't want to attend? Are you carrying emotional weight that isn't yours to carry? So we all live this moment, but now is to realize how we can make sure that we keep our peace, that we can protect what is really important for us. So we understand, first thing is that clarity. So we need to bring that clarity in our mind. So what is important? So when you have that awareness, now you can say no to the wrong thing and say yes to the right thing. So first, what is that one thing that you must stop saying yes to? Is it a task that you've outgrown? Is it guilt? Is it overcommitment? Is it fixing everything for everyone? So think about it. What is that one thing that you must stop saying yes to protect what is essential? Second thing, what is that one essential yes you must defend at all costs? Maybe it's your morning routine that brings you peace. Maybe it's a family dinner that is really important for you. Maybe it's your growth, your rest, your focus time. So what is that one essential yes that you must defend at all costs? And third, what is that one boundary that you need to install right now to protect that yes? So a boundary is not a punishment, it's protection. So it's to say this is where my peace lives, so I choose to keep it. So what is that one boundary that you need to install right now to protect that yes that you must defend at all costs? So take the time to write it down if you are at a place that you have pen and paper, or if not, just say it out loud. If you are in the car and you're listening to the podcast, just what it matters the most to you right now and how you can protect it with courage. So your challenge this week, simple. Say one graceful no that can help you protect that essential yes. Maybe it's going to be to decline a meeting that doesn't serve your mission. Maybe it's going to just saying no to guilt and yes to your rest. Maybe it's telling someone not now because you are working on something that you want to finish that truly matter to you. So just remember that every no that will honor your purpose will create space for a deeper yes that will shape your future. So again, it's all about that clarity that will bring you the courage to say no gracefully. And sometimes we we talk about leadership. I need to be an example for everyone, but leadership starts with personal leadership. So lead yourself first. Be the one that you lead with intention. That means protect your essential. Replace people pleasing with purpose living. So it's to realize that you need that clarity first to make sure that you have the courage to say no gracefully so you can reclaim that freedom to say yes powerfully. So again, if you are not already registered for the conference on January 24th, make sure that you are with us. So again, you have the link in the comment because it's always something that, yes, it sounds good in a podcast, but it's 30 minutes, it's 20 minutes. It's fast. You need more to make sure that it's gonna bring you to the next level and make really a difference. And January 24th is the best moment because you're gonna start the year with all those beautiful ideas, and then after 3 weeks, usually that's where you realize, oh, I didn't have a plan to do it. So you're gonna be ready for the conference on January 24th. So on that, we wish you a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone. Yay!